All right, let's hope we're running because YouTube's being asshole again, and I cannot view anything from YouTube through Google. Go figure. All right, welcome to today's Fireside Chat. As you guys noticed, we've got we got a full docket today. We're going to be talking about the original print of Star Wars, not Episode 4, not A New Hope, but Star Wars. Period.
The
We're also
original movie as it was shown in the theaters.
Yes, when it first ran. We're also going to be talking about some updates about what's been going on with Nintendo. We're going to hit on Evil Hat Games losing the Tomb Raider RPG. And we're going to also talk about Disney accidentally streaming the banned version of the sci-fi classic The Abyss. Yeah, I when I found out why that version was banned, I'm still gobsmacked, and I cannot believe the precious snowflakes got that version banned. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you people?
Well, it
But
wasn't the snowflakes that got it banned. That version of the movie's been banned for like 40 years, I think.
yeah, because of I think it
Because of
was
that scene.
yeah, and I'm like, that was a crucial scene to prove a point, and I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. But anyway, what let's start out with something simple and easy, and the updates about what happened with Nintendo.
Yeah. So first on our docket, a little bit of relatively sad news for anyone who plays Pokemon. I'm sure some of you may have heard about this, but there was a guy who had been playing Pokemon for 20 years, going all the way back to playing Leaf Green and Fire Red, who, after attempting to transfer his data from his Switch to his Switch 2, lost over 1,000 hours and 20 years worth of data.
Only 1,020 years? Bruh.
Yeah,
I could get 20,000 hours in 20 years.
yeah, that's if it's the only game you're playing.
That's only if it is literally the only thing you're doing and all of your bodily functions are attached to tubes and stuff and everything is done automatic. You don't have any
I already have like 1,000 hours in one of the Pokemon games I have. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm like set on that route.
Howdy, William. It's great to see you again.
But anyway, with Pokemon, with most modern Pokemon games like Scarlet and Violet and stuff like that, the object or the point there is the Pokemon Company has an app called Pokemon Home, where you transfer all the Pokemon you want to save to when you start a new save file, or as this man did, transfer to another system. Because those games do not save the data when it transfers. You lose all that. This guy did not use Pokemon Home, apparently. So he ended up losing Pokemon that he had been saving and stockpiling and progress that he had made over 20 years.
Well, if he didn't do it the right way, then obviously he's going to lose some of his progress.
Oh,
Yep.
God, yeah.
Not the hard way as well.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's not. I don't put that on Nintendo. You know,
No,
I put that on the dude.
Problem. That's his fault.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yep.
I'm like, damn.
yeah,
I feel for the guy, but still,
It was his fault. He 100% knew that there was a proper way to do it with Pokemon Home, but he didn't.
Exactly. But I feel bad for the dude looking at the fact that he just screwed himself over because but I also believe I'm a big believer in actions have consequences, and you got to live with your consequences.
I never feel bad for people that suffer from something that they themselves done.
Yeah,
But
I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, dude, but you brought that on yourself. I mean, if
They
I'm sorry,
literally
I'm a
built
big
an
believer.
app for this.
I haven't
Like,
got to check out Behold Humanity yet, but I will be.
Like, they built an entire app for this. It's free. It's like on the Switch consoles as as well. Like, it's widely advertised, I'm pretty sure.
yep.
Literally every single person that plays Pokemon knows it exists.
Yep.
Hold on.
And now I saw a thing on my newsfeed recently where the guy came out and said that he was so devastated he didn't think he was even gonna try to ever play Pokemon again. Which, I'll be honest, if I were in a situation like that, like I don't know how many of y'all watch my channel. I have save files for a lot of my games going back 30 years. If I lost all that, I would definitely be devastated.
Yeah.
And I would feel much the
Yeah,
same
I'd
way.
probably not play the game for like a couple of years until I'm like, you know what, fine, fuck it, I'll try it again. It would be dope to like feel like I'm playing it again for the first time anyway.
With most games, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love playing a game new, fresh. But there are some games like, for example, World of Warcraft or things like that, or Warhammer 40K, where if you have to start over in a situation like that where you have to do everything in real time, and
It could kill your mood quite a lot.
It takes days, months, in some rare cases, years to make that kind of progress. To lose all of that just like that would be enough to kill anybody's mood.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's like I said. I feel for the dude, but he should have, at least done what they said to do on how to transfer everything over. But consequences of his actions, he's got to live with it. I was just wondering if it's possible that the information is still in the original Switch. Because
Well,
if it was like any
probably
other, if it was like any type of like USB drive, it's still on the old USB drive. Even if he did a cut and paste, it could still be recovered.
If he'd done it through a connection where he had to plug his old console into his new one, then no, it's definitely going to be lost on both consoles. But if he'd done it like through some illegitimate way where he didn't have to physically connect the two consoles with like wires or something, then yeah, it should most likely be on the first console.
Mm.
But seeming with his reaction on the matter, it probably isn't on the original console. But if it was on the original console, then he would be smart enough to do it the actual way.
Yeah.
But clearly, he's not.
No, I'm still, damn, it's like I said, on like a USB hard drive, thumb drive type deal. It's still on that drive, that thumb drive. It's like, oh shit, it didn't transfer over. It's still on the drive though. Just need to find somebody to pull it off the drive.
Think of with a case like this, think of it as instead of copy and pasting, you're moving it. It's moving the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's moving it from the old Switch to the Switch 2. All that data is leaving the Switch.
Yeah. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to like move it, not switch to Switch, but switch to the app and from the app to the game.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, not really. Switch. You have to like import it from game into the app, and then the app into the new game. Not switch to switch. Because that way, if you do it the proper way, you are going to be able to make it go back and forth, back and forth. As long as the Pokemon you want in the game is already featured in the game. Because for some Pokemon games, it won't allow you to have some Pokemon if they're not like regularly available in the region.
Yeah.
Or just too overpowered.
Cool.
Yeah. Games like I play Let's Go Eevee. That's one of those. Yeah, that's one of those games that.
Yeah, Eevee's my niece's favorite Pokemon character.
Yeah,
mine's the Ninja.
Let's Go Eevee is one of those games that if you transfer the game over to a new Switch, you will 100% lose everything because it does not save that data. Like all of that data gets lost in the transfer.
Yeah, because the memory is on the old console. The new console doesn't have the memory. It's the console that keeps the memory, not the account.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, you just need to like understand how these consoles work, to like have an actual idea, and also to mix some actual theoretical logic into it. Because how would memories which takes up megabytes, gigabytes, all that storage stuff, how would storage be stored in an account? Accounts can't have a storage drive because it's just an account. That's what it is. It's not a full-on console. Because I learned that lesson when I first lost my Splatoon 2, so I had to buy another one, and I was scared that I would have lost everything and get a new one, lost everything and have to like start from scratch. But no, I got the new a new Splatoon 2 cartridge, and it turns out when I did put it in my Switch, I had everything I had on the old one, because it's the console that keeps the memories and storage from the games, not the account.
Oh, okay.
I also learned that from when I got my PS5 and I logged into it. It had none of my games, but my account recognized that somewhat recognized that it was my account. So I just had to use my storage device to transfer the games onto my PS5.
Okay. Because I'm still trying to. I don't know anything about the Switch. I've never played with it. Never dealt with them. They sound a lot like the old Game Boys. Whenever I was
I just want to say, my PS5 argument is kind of invalid because the PS5 is a far more powerful console than any Nintendo console out there. So that's kind of like out like invalidated.
No, I know some of these consoles are just as have a lot of the same capabilities as a PC with its own internal memory and everything, and the graphics cards and everything that's in RAM, the stuff that's in it. It's all just dedicated just to the gaming stuff.
I also do want to say some like devices, like some consoles and PCs, sometimes the account can remember the devices. Well, not devices, the things that you have in your games, but it's just that the Switch isn't powerful enough to actually do that.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, the Switch is a weak console. It can like only run at 30 FPS and like not have that, and it doesn't have that much storage at default. It's a weak console. It's like inferior to like any other like form of gaming, like compared to PlayStation or Xbox. It's inferior, especially if you compare it to PC gaming. That PC gaming just knocks everything out the window.
No,
Nintendo is just a cheap company that makes their consoles for cheap and out of cheap things.
well, isn't the PCs that are that a lot more versatile than the gaming
Oh,
console?
absolutely.
Because I
No.
know, I know there's certain tech for gaming consoles that we're not allowed to export overseas because to various locations because of the computing capacity of the gaming console. They don't want that to be utilized because it's easy to militarize.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, uh, that explains a lot because I've got friends of mine that were still active duty whenever they'd get deployed. They were told to not let people know that they had their let anybody outside of their unit know that they had their gaming consoles with them because that was it could be considered a security risk.
Yep.
Because hey, if you knew this somebody had a gaming console in their home in their barracks, there are people out there that would break in just to steal that son of a bitch, not to game
Yep.
with it, but to militarize it.
Yep. I actually saw that. I have actually seen in various TV shows where back in the day, people would buy PlayStation 4s in bulk and use them to make supercomputers.
Yeah.
Don't trust TV shows. That stuff's very unrealistic.
You know,
It
it's
doesn't matter if it did end up happening in real life. You shouldn't really get that type of knowledge
It's a
from
point.
shows or movies.
yeah.
It's a point. It's a point to be proven, though.
Yes. Well, anyway, I'm just yeah, I feel bad for you, dude, out there that did that, but still, you got to accept the consequences of doing something. Uh, I really feel for you. You're my thoughts, my prayers, and I'm wishing you calm. You know, get it, go sit Indian style, and start rubbing your fingers together. Go make yourself feel better with some meditation, and see if that helps. Because trust me, dude, I'm having to take blood pressure medicine to deal with my blood pressure nowadays. Don't let it hit you in the heart, man. Just don't let it hit you in the heart. Don't give up something you love just because you screwed something up. See it as an opportunity to build back better.
Yep.
Now,
I
let's hit.
have a bit of. I have one other piece. Well, a twofold piece of Nintendo gaming news that hits very close to home for me.
All right.
So, a lot of older gaming fans, especially from the 90s, such as myself, will recognize the name Gex. Limited Run Games back in 2022, I think it was, announced Gex Trilogy, which is a remaster of the old Gex games for the PlayStation, the original PlayStation. After many delays, the Gex Trilogy has finally been released on Steam. And I have a copy on the Switch pre-ordered. I've seen previews of it, and they have attempted to preserve the original style of the games in their entirety, and from what I've seen, it looks amazing.
You know, isn't I'm trying to remember. I remember reading that there was supposed to be a remastering of one of the big games, and I can't remember what game it was. Because I know I was watching earlier today. One of Bethesda's biggest fans was talking about because I ended up watching their video because they said that Fallout 76 is going to have a massive game-changing update this winter, and they were discussing what they were going to change, and a lot of us are hoping that they're either A, going to expand the map some more, or they're going to make it easier for those of us who like building shit to be able to build shit without all the super limited budgets, uh, building budget and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but they were also talking about the possibility of the remastering of Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3 because the updated graphics stuff that they updated for Fallout 4, these guys were talking about how they really messed up Fallout 4, and I'm like, I'm actually enjoying some of the stuff that they did for Fallout 4. I'm actually I'm gonna actually start over from the very beginning and replay Fallout 4 from the beginning, just because I want to, and it also hopefully allow me to build more shit. But that's me. I like the building games, but though I probably am going to get annoyed with Preston always coming up says, "Hey, there's another settlement that needs your help." Because that right there, man, that's needy bitch showing up. They need your help, man. They need your help. Oh crap! I was just building some cool shit. All right, give me a time. I'll go do it. And but yeah, that's for all the other Fallout 4 players. You know my pain. But yeah, but there was supposed to be a remastering of some of the older games, and I just don't know which ones that they're supposed to be remastering.
Well, from what I'm seeing, we are currently in the age of nostalgia, and it's only a matter of time before I think most of them will end up getting either remastered or remade or re-released.
Yeah. The funny thing, I saw a meme the other day. That's supposed to be a meeting at the C-suite of Disney with Iger sitting there going, "What are we going to do? What are we going to do?" And this one guy stands up and says, "Well, with nostalgia going, there's only one movie that we haven't remade that we can remake." And several of the people in the background saying, "No, it can't be. No, you can't be serious. You can't mean." Yes, the Song of the South. And everybody's losing their, and then everybody lost their shit in the meme. Kill him, kill the heretic type stuff in the background. As the guy sitting there going, "We need to remake the Song of the South."
Yeah.
But yeah, it's too many places that are focusing too much on the nostalgia part instead of trying to create something new. But that's because, well, Hollywood has become very creatively bankrupt because they ran all the creative people off.
Yep. There is nothing new to be made because Hollywood doesn't want anything new.
Yeah. And that's why you see the indie movies are doing so well. Because there's so many independent movie makers out there that are making movies on their own on the indie front. I mean, you saw the creation of Angel Studios because of that. Yes, a lot of Angel Studios is religious based, but they do have stuff that they have put out that's not religious based. And I'm grateful to say I got on board that as soon as I found out about it. I get 2 free tickets every time Angel Studios releases a movie. I get 2 free tickets to go see the movies. I just need somebody to take me to go see them. So most of the time, I'm just giving those 2 tickets to somebody else to go see the movie since I can't get nobody to drive me to the movie theaters to go see it, which sucks. I want to go to the movie so bad it ain't even funny. But
the other side of this, though, is upon release of the Switch 2, little backstory, a lot of the games for the original Switch are supposed to be forwards compatible with the Switch 2.
Yeah.
And there's a bug that prevented some of the games from running properly. In some cases, they wouldn't start up at all. a patch has been made for most of those games, which are now functioning properly. But there are others that still don't work right. Gex Trilogy being one of them. And Carbon Game, or Limited Run Games, has asked Nintendo to remove the game from the eShop until they can get the patch approved for it. What I'm seeing, they have the patch made. It's just the approval for the patch has been delayed.
Yeah. Well, what are they gonna? Is there any the issues that they were having with the Switch 2 that you brought up last time? Are they going to be releasing anything to fix it?
From what I've seen, no. We have to realize this is Nintendo, and Nintendo has a very, very bad reputation for not listening to their fans. In fact, in some cases, they've pulled a Disney and done the opposite of what their fans wanted.
Yeah. Well,
I remember when the original Switch first came out, and the fans went up in arms about the stick drift.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo came out and said, no, there is no stick drift. That's all in your heads. It's all in your heads. Your eyes are lying to you. And they vehemently denied the existence of the stick drift, to the point that the Switch 2 is still having that same exact issue, and they did not fix it.
Well, damn.
And there are reports of stick drift right out of the box.
Yeah, my Switch had stick drift problems as well.
Okay, give me a moment, guys.
Like we spent so much money on different joysticks.
Yeah. Even worse is that now the Switch 2's price has jumped up to nearly $500.
That's bullshit.
I'm talking to your Aunt Becca, so give me a second. Yeah, this weekend is Heroes Con here in Charlotte. It's a big not science fiction, but it's a big comic book convention that we have every year around Father's Day. It's what Comic-Con used to be, that celebrated the comic book creators, the artists, the writers, the editors, and etc. Before Comic-Con ended up becoming all about the TV shows, the movies, that focused more on the actors that were portraying these characters and so on. We've also got some of the best cosplayers that come to HeroCon that are just amazing. We've got a convention here also that is Con Carolinas that had the potential to become a family-friendly Dragon Con. For those who don't know what Dragon Con is, this Dragon Con is such a massive science fiction fantasy convention. When I went in 2005, it was held in 3 separate hotels, and it was spread out between these 3 hotels there in Atlanta. And it was not very family friendly, and it was always crowded, even though it was spread out between 3 big hotels and convention centers. When I say crowded, I mean it was hard to walk around in it, and not very family friendly. There was this one woman walking around wearing nothing but body paint and jewelry. Let me say that again. All she was wearing was body paint and jewelry, nothing else.
Oof.
And she was sharing an elevator ride with a little kid was right at eye level with a very particular spot of the female anatomy. And the reason why she and her and her friend were going back to their room was to touch up the makeup, the body paint that was on her because, well, it was running. And it wasn't running from upstairs, it was running from downstairs on the insides. So, yeah, that was that was a memory of Dragon Con that left me with the whole thing of not very family friendly. And but Con Carolinas was well on its way to becoming a family friendly Dragon Con because all the adult stuff, anything that was adult oriented, was kept after dark, after the kids would go to bed, and all the guests that they would have started. They would show up with their families. That they were like, "Oh my God, I can bring my family to this convention." And I mean, they would bring their kids, little kids, with them to the convention. And the only thing we didn't have was at the time was a child's track, and we kept trying to get a child's track set up for Con Carolinas. I don't know if they finally did it or not, but I do know that it went from being family friendly, keeping adult oriented type stuff after dark. They started integrating more adult oriented stuff during the daytime. And then they said, oh, we're going to have a zero tolerance policy for bullying. And John Ringo was invited to be part of one of the guests. And a whole bunch of lunatics just started review bombing Con Carolina, saying, well, if he's coming, we're not coming because his fans are right wingers. And the convention was going to, they tried to stand up for the fact that John Ringo had nothing to do with what these people were bitching about. And at the end of it, they allowed themselves to get bullied so bad that the public relations person who was responsible for it, she quit. And yeah, I stopped going to and supporting Con Carolinas after that. And I was one of the guys that helped create the T-shirts of the symbol for Con Carolinas is a winged panther, and there several of the T-shirts that I designed for them sold really well. One of them had a mama winged panther and a baby winged panther, and it was one of their best sellers. I don't know if it still is or not, but I stopped going after they allowed themselves to get bullied and broke their own anti-bullying policy. And oh shoot, Becca's not feeling so hot. Okay, but yeah, I'm to that point to where I'm looking at the conventions, and I'm like, Heroes Con is awesome. It's one of those things that if you're into comic books and you're on the East Coast and can make the trip to Charlotte, please do. It's awesome. It's fun. It's very family friendly. And depending on who is here for the convention, will usually judge just how thick the crowds are, because the crowds have never been so crowded you can't get around. I'm disabled, so I'm able to get around pretty easily. So that should let you know it's a good con to go to. Heroes is a staple in the Carolinas. It was the first comic book store that we had in the Carolinas. And its name is Heroes Aren't Hard to Find if you do a Google search. And the name of the convention is Heroes Con, or Heroes Convention, Charlotte, North Carolina. If you guys can do it, please come. It's fun. It's enjoyable. Just bring a camera so you can take pictures of all of the cosplayers, because there's a lot of them. And if you need cosplay supplies and props, it's the place to get them, because they have a lot of people there selling them. There's also cosplay vehicles that are there on display. There's people who make custom cosplay props that you can talk to and commission right there. It's awesome. It's fun. There's also the fan groups that come, and they set up a table for recruitment drives, be it the Klingon fan club, the Starfleet fan clubs. You've got the Ghostbusters fan club. You got a Star Wars fan club. You got it all, boys and girls. I'm actually thinking about whenever we go, either tomorrow or on. I know we're going on Sunday, but taking a camera and filming, and that way we can post some stuff of how awesome this place is. Um, it's held at the Charlotte Convention Center, and it's a pretty nice big spot. That's big and it's open. And like I said, it's fun. It's really fun. Getting to meet all these comic book writers, editors, and artists is a very enjoyable experience. Commissioning the artist to draw your characters or your favorite character from whatever comic book company you like is always the bee's knees, guys. It's so much fun. Um, I can't recommend Heroes Con anymore because it's just one of the most awesome things I get to do every year. It's my one big getting out of the house thing every year. So yeah, that's why you can hear the excitement in my voice is the fact I get to go out and do something for the first time, pretty much only time of the year. It sucks being a crippled shut-in. It really does. You would think, I got all this time in the world. Yeah, and I don't get to go do nothing with it. Yeah, buddy. But anywho, let's go ahead and hit the Star Wars movie print being seen. Take it away, Buckethead.
So, the original 1977 version of Star Wars that George Lucas hid away has now been publicly shown on the big screen after 47 years. This is probably the first good thing I think I have ever seen Kathleen Kennedy do. But it's a double-edged sword. Because this is the version that before any edits or polishing was done to it, before any of the typical changes that George Lucas is known for.
Yeah.
The original version as it was seen in theaters.
And she actually let people see it.
Yes.
That right there is what stuns me the most. Not that it's out it's out there, but she actually let people see it. Because all the insiders I've ever talked to said that for some reason Kathleen Kennedy really hates Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. It says here, quote, a long-lost original print of 1977's Star Wars was recovered from an archive and screened for a group of cinema aficionados and die-hard fans, end quote.
Mm-hmm. Keep going. Yeah.
It also says here, quote, that it was nearly perfectly preserved and unfaded. This is the first released version of the film.
Okay. Anybody that can hear my voice that was special operations, infiltration and acquisition specialists especially, we need to find it, get a hold of some people who can digitize this sumbitch and release it into the wild so everybody can see it, because the original release was so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you ready for the double-edged sword part of that?
Yeah, let's hear it.
It says, quote, an attending film critic from The Telegraph who attended the screening last week admitted the unaltered original, quote, looks terrible by modern standards, end quote.
Well, yeah, it
Says,
was in the 70s.
yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that because of the tech differences and special effects differences. But hey, I'm a fan of classic Doctor Who. I'm not going to bitch about special effects being out of date
Yep.
because, for the love of God, I'm still watch I still watch old movies, you know, that have old special effects in them because I'm there to see the movie. I'm there for the story. Don't bitch and moan about stuff because that's an automatic issue. Is the special effects are out of date, even though even considering the fact that those special effects was the cutting edge that set standards that everybody else had to break. So yeah, it's it's messed up. Okay, hold on, guys. I've got to take a moment off. So go ahead and
Uh,
to the chat about this. I'll be right back.
So, says here, a lot of people feel like it was a completely different film. And here it says, quote, a vlogger for Savvy Cinema, George Aldrich, who says he's seen A New Hope at least 100 times, said the screening was incredibly special, but likewise made him realize there are so many great changes to the Star Wars films. It's the ones we dislike that have always overshadowed them. He noted, too, that the print was so radically different that it felt like watching the film for the first time.
I'm back. I'm sorry.
welcome back.
My nephew was over wanting paper towels
Oh,
and did
Actually,
not get through his head that, hey, I'm broadcasting live.
okay. Actually, I should probably reread this for you, Richard, because you should probably hear this.
Okay, let's hear it.
It says here, quote, a vlogger for Cinema Savvy, George Aldrich, who says he's seen A New Hope at least 100 times, said the screening was incredibly special, but likewise made him realize there are so many great changes to the Star Wars films. It's the ones we dislike that have always overshadowed them.
Yes.
He too noted the print was so radically different that it felt like watching the film for the first time, end quote.
Yeah, that's about right. Because, I mean, people, whenever we talk, those of us who saw it in the theater when it first was released in 77, they look at us funny and said, that didn't happen in the movie. And I'm like, yes, it did. No, it didn't. Because all they've ever seen is what they've seen. They've not seen the first one when it first said, the Star Wars. It didn't have A New Hope or Episode 4 or any of that stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, I get it. That there's stuff in there that most people don't recognize because of it. And I'm like, yeah, this is what we've been trying to tell you kids,
But yeah, there's a little section here describing the parts of the actual film itself. Quote, every scene had the visceral sense of watching actual people photographed doing actual things with sets and props that had been physically sawn and glued into place.
Mm-hmm.
The slapstick between C-3PO and R2-D2 looked clunkier and therefore funnier.
Mm-hmm.
The Death Star panels were less like supercomputers than wooden boards with lights stuck on, and so better attuned to the frequency of make-believe.
Yeah.
It felt less like watching a blockbuster in the modern sense than the greatest game of dressing up in the desert anyone ever played. End quote.
Yeah, I mean,
And I can see how by modern standards something like that maybe wouldn't fly, but to the older folks and to those of us who enjoy originality, who grew up with that stuff, this is gold.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like I said, watching the classic Doctor Who, Blake Seven, Space 1999, UFO, the original Star Trek, uh, Babylon 5 when it first came out. These things, the special effects at the time, practical effects, were a lot more, well, practical. It wasn't like it is today, high definition stuff. You could almost tell what it was a facade, and you focused more on the actors, them and their art and their crafting of their characters. And it's one of those things to where I'm like, back when they were making movies back then, you had to have good actors. You couldn't just rest on your laurels with special effects. That's the one thing that Marvel and DC and all these other big names aren't getting, is the fact, oh, we're spending all this money on special effects and then complaining about how much they're paying the actors and actresses for, driving the price of the movies up. And I'm like, no, you should be investing more in the face of the movie, because it's the acting that carries the movie. The special effects is supposed to be there to make it easier for you to be pulled into the movie and make it easier for you to suspend your disbelief and bite into it. Whenever you let your special effects overwhelm everything, you're losing something there. You're losing the art. You're losing the craft. It's like I keep saying, it's the writer's stupid. You need a good script. And you have to have.
Well, yeah, but special effects are quite important.
Yes,
movies.
they are, but they shouldn't overwhelm everything else, is what I'm saying.
I mean, just look at Avatar, James Gunn's Avatar movies. They were amazing, and they were literally 90% CGI.
Yep.
Yes, but that's different.
Those had been worked on for years and years and years.
It took forever to make those movies, but what carried those movies was the acting of the actors portraying these characters.
I don't think so. Because if they didn't have the CGI to make them look like the Na'vi, I don't think it would have been that good.
True. But that would then make it a animated movie, which to me,
it's peanut butter. It's like peanut butter and jelly. The Avatar movies are like peanut butter and jelly.
You need them both to work.
Exactly. And funny that you mentioned appreciation for the originals and the changes, because the article actually talks about that here. It says here, quote, ironically, a version of Star Wars that Lucas for so long didn't want to be shown seems to give viewers more respect for Lucas due to gaining some appreciation for his extensive and controversial tinkering.
Yes.
Both reviewers noted, however, that the theater burst into applause when Han Solo shot first during the Greedo confrontation. Moving along just a little bit, Lucas's tweaks to the print, which I'm now realizing that this is an original print before the first theatrical release. Lucas's tweaks to the print began with the very first theatrical re-release of Star Wars in 1981. Says, until now, the studio has only permitted the screenings of various special editions.
Yeah, that was because the issue with his ex-wife and the fact that she was the one who edited the original Star Wars, and anytime that they would play it, he would have to pay her a buttload of royalties.
Yeah.
But if he played it for free, I don't think he'd have to pay those royalties. But I think it's only if money was exchanging hands. But I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
but this is something that this is the first good thing I think Kathleen Kennedy has ever done.
Well, back in the day, whenever she had people around her that actually had the ability to say, "No, bad Kathleen Kennedy, bad Kathleen Kennedy," you know, it's like the thing I posted earlier today about Siggy. You know, Florida man breaks into aquarium and starts baptizing the octopus in the name of the great old ones, and I'm like, no, bad Sigvaldason, bad Sigvaldason, stop it, Sigvaldason. You know, but sorry guys, that was an insider joke, but it's funny. Trust me, I've still got people sending me messages going, "This is too damn funny, man." But yeah, but no, it's Kathleen Kennedy. There's so many things that she worked on back in the day that was extremely made a lot of money, and it was really good. I mean, she worked on the Gremlins, Indiana Jones, the Goonies. I think also there were so many things that she worked as a producer and executive producer for, and it's like with later in today's little bit, we'll talk a little bit about how Russell T Davies is no longer going to be part of Doctor Who because Russell T Davies saved Doctor Who, brought it back for a modern audience, and he pretty much killed it. But that's beside the point. Kathleen Kennedy, much like RTD, put their message ahead of telling good stories. And when you do that, you can destroy an IP, even one that was extremely printer makes money. Brrr, you know, because that was Star Wars. Star Wars was making money big time, and it was a money printer, man. And I mean, because of what's happened to Star Wars, the toys aren't even selling anymore. So much so, Hasbro's has the rumors coming out of Hasbro is that they're talking about getting out of the toy making business. And that right there, I'm sorry, one of the biggest toy makers is sitting there talking about getting out of the toy making business because they can't sell the flipping toys. That's telling you a lot. It's like with earlier today we were talking on the Discord about the Mandalorian, and somebody brought up about how they shouldn't have brought Grogu back for season 3, and I'm like, yeah, the original plan was that they were going to have a spinoff of Mandalorian was going to be Grogu and Luke Skywalker, with Luke Skywalker training Grogu in the ways of the Force.
I think I know why they had him return in season 3, and that's because they knew the fan base would have been heartbroken if they knew Grogu would have died when Kylo Ren burnt down Luke's temple, killing all his other students.
Well, that's the whole bit. They were they were at the time going to be getting rid of that as what the Force was going to hold. But Kathleen Kennedy killed it. She said, "No, you're not allowed to do that." And Hasbro was sitting there going, "No, we need this. We need this to sell the toys because this is what the fans are wanting: is Luke Skywalker and Grogu toys to be sold." And she pitched a shit fit and said, "No, I'm in charge here, and you can't do it."
I've never known a Star Wars fan that asked for that. Just saying.
Well,
I know a lot.
Well,
I'm putting down your point. I'm just saying that I've personally never heard anyone say that they wanted that. If anything, my friends I knew during that time was like, I want to see Grogu back in season 3 if there is going to be one.
Well, Kathleen Kennedy is known for doing the opposite of what her fans want. Like literally in the sequel trilogy, she teased her fans with something. Oh, here's these two characters. They may be related, they may not. I may put them into a relationship, I may not. Oh, wait a minute. You like that idea? You actually like that? Well, fuck you then. You're not getting it. And all the Raylos were pissed.
I think they're just trying to keep the fans on the edge of their seat, but doing it in a bad way.
Well, one of the things that a lot of people don't get, okay, no matter what they said, because they kept saying, "Oh, we've got the sequel trilogy planned out." Well, the people that worked on the sequel trilogy were sitting there behind the scenes going, "No, we don't," because there was no unified plan for the sequel trilogy. It's one of the reasons why The Last Jedi, when it was made, because Last Jedi was going to be made at the same time as the last movie, which ended up becoming The Rise of Skywalker. They were going to make them both at the same time. And the guy that was going to be making the last movie was like, I can't wait. I've got plans for Luke Skywalker. And he got told, no, you can't play with Luke Skywalker. We're killing him in The Last Jedi.
I do think it would have been really dumb to make both movies at the same point of time, because that would put a lot of stress and strain on the actors for having to make two movies at the exact same time, and it would also
the
just
way they would have done
a
it,
bunch of inconveniences.
the way that this works, because this is how they've done the Avatar movies. They filmed them all back to back at pretty much at the same time, and let the post production stuff take their time. That's just the way it works in Hollywood. You can knock 3 movies out in a very short period of time. All the actors and actresses, boom, 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 they get their shit done, and then they go home. Everything then goes into post production, where they work on the special effects and the editing. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
It's just like with TV. TV shows. They film pretty close episodes. Boom, 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 like a 8-hour workday. Boom, 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 and it's done. But no, that was their original plan. That way they could spend extra time working on special effects and getting the stuff for advertisements and the post production work of the actors and actresses. Going on tour to get people to go see the movies. And then when Carrie Fisher died, they had plenty of time to where they could have reworked it, and they didn't do that. And the most messed up part of it was Rian Johnson actually admitted the fact that the basics for the script of The Last Jedi was something he had wrote years ago, that he just knocked stuff off and turned it into a Star Wars property. And yeah,
so it literally wasn't a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, they turned it into one for the message. But it goes back to that. Whatever message that he was trying to push, and it basically ruined the storylines. Let's free these animals that's going to be easily recaptured. But screw the little kids that are slaves. Leave them in slavery. That was the message.
Yeah, not my kid, not my problem. Let them suffer.
And
pretty much.
Real heroes would have been like, oh, fuck that. We're going to save these kids. And use the escape of all those racing animals to cover them getting those kids the hell out of there, But that's what heroes would have done. The new Star Wars has been trying to make the Empire the good guys and the Rebellion the bad guys. And it's so messed up. But the people who got to see Star Wars the way I saw it when it first came out in 1977, congratulations. I wish I could have been there to see it again. Because my 6-year-old memories, me being 6 years old back then, I don't have as good of a memory of it as I wished I had. but it was so inspiring for that 6-year-old grew up loving Star Wars, and I still do. I'm not going to let somebody kill my love of something that way, but that's me, you know. Um, but yeah, I'm still in shock. I mean, dang, it's still out there. Nobody's messed with it. If if they were smart, they would get that thing on digital so everybody can see it because it's too damn good of a movie for it to just go away. You know, it changed the landscape of pop culture in a way that no other movie has before it or since it. The closest you can come to is Gone with the Wind. Because if you take into account the inflation rates, Gone with the Wind is the most successful movie that was ever made and played. It was the most watched movie for the longest time. It stayed in theaters for several years. And considering the fact that tickets back then were like 10, 15, 20 cents, and it made millions of dollars back then. Yeah, it that Star Wars had that big of an impact, and it shaped a great deal of sci-fi. Because up until then, sci-fi was shiny and bright, you know, and Star Wars showed a gritty, lived-in science fiction setting. It just sparked the imagination for so many people. So, like I said, kids, if you guys ever get this chance to go see it, I recommend going and seeing it. It's amazing. Um,
Yeah. If I had money, if I had the means, I would love to be able to see the original.
yep. It's oh man, I am jealous of the people who got to go see it. I really am. Um, dang. Movies movies have such a major feel for them. You know, they that it's a. I love going to go see movies in the theater. That there's nothing like seeing a movie on the big screen, and you're sharing it with so many other people that they gasp at the same time you are. They're shocked at the same time you are. It's a communal experience of awe and amazement. And I miss that. I miss that feel. Um, COVID did a number on us, and we still haven't recovered from that, you know? And it's messed up. And there's no other way to put it that COVID had a major effect on culture and a negative effect on culture, big time. It helped increase the divide that separates people, and in in many ways, it feels like that was one of the points of what we went through during COVID. Um, but let's get on to a new topic. Let's see, which should we go to next? Should we hit Disney accidentally streaming the original version of The Abyss?
I have no idea, but I need to go
All right,
now.
you be good, son.
Love you.
All right. See ya.
Let's go ahead and do The Abyss because The Abyss. I'm still shocked that that the original version of the Abyss that I saw in the movie theaters got banned all because of the mouse in the liquid oxygen.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and bear in mind, this is only over in the UK where it was removed.
oh, okay, okay. All right.
In the United States, it's still
Allowed.
it's still up.
Oh, good. But still,
But
I mean, damn.
knowing what I've heard from Tony and from Doomcock about the UK, I can completely understand that.
Yeah. But like I said, to me, the Abyss, if it wasn't for the Abyss, we would not have gotten Terminator 2. Because there was special effects that they pioneered with the Abyss that proved that they could make Terminator 2. You know, the tendril of water that came out and it was able to change shapes and stuff. That technology is the technology they used to create the T-1000. That special effect of the liquid metal. That's how they proved it would work. And the fact that they made the movie in North Carolina is another thing that's just really awesome to me. Was that they filmed it at what's the name of there was going to be a nuclear power plant, and the three towers, I think two of them was completed before the anti-nuclear power people was able to shut the whole project down. And instead they turned it into a place where they can film underwater scenes. And yeah, it's pretty cool. If you guys if you haven't seen the movie, go see it. It's really good.
Yeah. I'll read a little bit of the article here real quick just to give the chat a little bit of a summary here.
Yep.
It says, quote, "It was found that the remastered version of The Abyss on Disney Plus violated an almost 40-year ban on an infamous scene. It says the movie has been removed from Disney Plus in the UK again, with no date for its return in edited form." Moving on a little bit further, says T3 was informed. T3 being the entertainment website where this article is.
Mm-hmm.
T3 was informed by the UK's Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, their RSPCA, that James Cameron's The Abyss had the scene removed when it was first released in 1989. But the newer remaster accidentally left it in. The scene showed live rats being submerged in fluorocarbon liquid, which took place during filming. Mm-hmm. And while it was claimed the rats survived the process, the scene was prohibited. It was said at the time that the forcible immersion of the rat caused terror. End quote.
I'm trying not to lose it. I'm trying not to lose it, guys. That was the whole purpose, was to show that it was a terrifying process. Drowning is terrifying. The body is going to be terrified as it's being submerged in liquid oxygen, because it's going to be like going, uh-oh, there's liquid going into my lungs. I'm about to drown, and your body's going to fight it. And that was the whole purpose of that scene. Oh, God. Like I said, precious snowflakes, man. Precious snowflakes. They always got to mess with shit.
Yep. Yep. In the vein of Doomcock, read a little bit here. A quote from the RSPCA here. This isn't about cancel culture. We'd welcome Disney Plus reinstating the film to their platform, just with this troubling scene removed, as is already the case in cinemas, on TV, and on DVD, said the RSPCA's head of public affairs, David Bowles.
He needs to go smoke a bowl.
Yeah!
Oh, God.
Says there's currently no indication on when or if it might return. The unedited version still seems to be available in the US version of Disney Plus, as that is not governed by BBFC guidelines.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Some people, man. Some people. I mean, I look at it. See, guys and gals, Karens aren't new. They've been around for a long time. Oh, God. But anyway, yeah, that's messed up. That is so messed up. If I don't laugh, I'll cry. So I'm going to laugh. Let's hit another a goodie that we got was Russell D. Davies is walking away. Russell T. Davies is walking away from Doctor Who, which is time for a happy dance. The Scooby Dooby, not Scooby, but a Snoopy happy dance time here, boys and girls. The man who everybody said Russell T. Davies brought Doctor Who to modern times. Well, he's also the one that pretty much killed it with Shitty Gatwa. Oh, God. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Dude has lost his ability to tell good stories because he focuses more on the message than he does on let's tell a good story now. I don't know if we touched on this before, but I love Torchwood. Torchwood was one of his babies, a spinoff of Doctor Who with Captain Jack. And the first few seasons of it were awesome. Then it slowly devolved into what straight dude can Captain Jack have sex with and turn into a gay guy? And the show ends up getting canceled because people stopped watching it because of that.
Yeah, that sounds like Russell T. Davies.
And then Russell T. Davies, after what happened with Chin Balls.
Chin Balls.
Well, that's the best way of describing him.
Yeah.
Jodie Whittaker was miscast as the first female Doctor. And I will state this till the day I die unless somebody can prove me wrong. If they were going to bring Billie Piper back to be the Doctor, that was when they should have done it. Not Jodie Whittaker, but her. Because they proved it with Capaldi that the Doctor would take on a form of somebody from his past that had an impact on him. Who better than the companion that he fell in love with and wanted to spend eternity with?
The companion that when his severed arm grew into a full-fledged human version of the Doctor, legitimately started a relationship and presumably married.
Exactly. Because the Doctor loved her. I'm sorry, dudes and dudettes, but he loved Rose Tyler. Period.
Hey, Carlos Fish.
Hey, Bubba. What you up to?
And we have Kush in the chat as well. Cash, Kush. How do you say that?
Chlamydia. Yeah, buddy, that's how I pronounce it. He doesn't like it too much, though.
You got me on that one.
So I just call him Cash. He doesn't like the way I'd normally say it. So yeah.
Johnny Cash.
But yes, Carlos Fish. We're talking about Doctor Who and Russell T Davies leaving Doctor Who after he basically burned it to the ground.
I'll be honest, and this is a hill that I will die on. At this point in Doctor Who history, if you're going to have the Doctor regenerate into a companion from his past, make it Donna freaking Noble.
Nah, they messed that one up with what they did with the whole special when they brought 10 back.
Well,
they made her so insufferable that even fans who love Donald Noble are pretty much, damn, she's insufferable. I can't. If Shrubby was here, he would say it for me. We all know what word I'm wanting to use. It's see you next Tuesday.
Yep. The one word that we in the United States can't say on YouTube.
Yes. Damn it, Shrubby, we needed you today to say the one word that you Aussies love saying oh so much. But nah, I mean, Russell T Davies, saving Doctor Who isn't that fracking hard. It's, of all of the franchises that have been screwed over by wokeness, it's the one that can be the fix the easiest. And because all you got to do is get Peter Capaldi to come back for the regeneration thing, and have everything that happened after Peter Capaldi as him having a really fucked up hallucination from a bad regeneration, and then have the new Doctor take over from him, and like I said, if they were going to do it, Billie Piper should have been the Doctor instead of Jodie Whittaker. She should have been number 13 because she had such a major influence on the Doctor on a personal and emotional level. And the only other companion that I could see them that could have had such a major impact would have been Clara, because she was the impossible girl who had herself split up in throughout time to try to help protect the Doctor from the people that were trying to destroy him at his various incarnations. But no, Ken Balls only likes working with certain people. So when he came in, of course, he was going to bring in somebody he had worked with before, and that was Jodie Whittaker when he did Broadchurch. And thus, it had a really big thing. Well, Clara, depending on which version of her, was boring. But I enjoyed Clara for the fact that it was new. And
I'll be honest. After Matt Smith, I watched, I think, 2 episodes of Capaldi. And even that was like one here and one there.
Yeah.
Well, and after that, I just completely lost interest.
I lost interest. I got upset with Capaldi's Doctor because of the writing, because they were making him so anti-military and attack and treating soldiers like they were stupid. That right there was like, hold your fucking horses. That's not the Doctor. It's like I was talking with Mary Stone. The Doctor had a great deal of respect for individual soldiers because he knew it wasn't their fault that they were having to fight a war. It was the politicians that put them into that situation. And hell, of all the humans that he met, there was this one soldier that he was like, holy shit, I like you, I can work with you. And that was the sergeant from unit, because every time first time they walk into the TARDIS, freaks out over the fact that it's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. Well, this sergeant just walks in, looks around, okay, and the Doctor looks at him and said, aren't you going to say anything about what? About it being bigger on the inside. Oh, isn't it? Why should I say something about it? It's bloody obvious. And the doctor gives him this little smirking smile and says, I like you. I can work with you. Because he didn't say nothing because it was already fucking obvious. This bigger on the inside, you know? And so that's the thing. I lost the series after Capaldi. I was losing interest with Matt Smith. He had a freakishly large head. Yeah, but that's what made him look younger. But like I said, a lot of people don't know a lot of the same reasons why Matt Smith left Doctor Who so suddenly the way he did was the same reason why Chris Eccleston left after just one season. Because Chris, there's a video on YouTube. I would share it, but I can't make YouTube videos pop up right now on my Google web page thing here. Because YouTube asshole. But he was sitting there talking about the only way he would come back to do Doctor Who again is if they got rid of Russell T Davies and all the people that's been in charge of it. That in his opinion, that the behind the scenes and the politics kind of screwed it over for him. It left him with a very bad taste in his mouth. And then they turned to Billy Piper and asked her if she'd go back, and she says, "Yeah, I think I would," because she loved it that much. Because remember, she stuck around for a couple of seasons of Tennant as the Doctor, and I don't blame her. It's a job. Jobs are how you get money. When you're rich enough to where you can basically say, I don't need that job, all the power to you, Bubba. Even though the fans would love to see Eccleston come back for some stuff, you know? And he's a fan, just like Peter Capaldi. Peter Capaldi talked about the fact he grew up watching Doctor Who. It was one of his favorite shows. It's what inspired him to get into acting. And they gave him some of the worst scripts out there. But yet he still tried to make it work. Then they gave him the worst companion possible. And that was Bill, who every chance she got said, I'm a woman who likes women, even when it had nothing to do with what they were fucking talking about. She just had to put that in there. And I'm like, so? You don't hear me talking about the fact I like having sex with women. I don't need to hear you talking about how much you like having sex with women unless we're comparing notes about hot redheads or hot Latinas or hot Asians or hot chicks in general. We're about to die here, okay? Let's focus on that instead of you being gay. Can we do that, please? And that's one of the reasons why I'd love to have. The only reason why I would play the Peter Capaldi era Doctor Who role-playing game is just so I could tell Bill, the companion, to shut the fuck up. We don't need to hear that. We're about to die. Now let's make sure we don't die.
Yeah.
But no, I mean,
the episodes of Doctor Who that I was the most fond of was the David Tennant era. I loved the 10th Doctor. He was my absolute favorite. Seeing what they've done with David Tennant, and learning that David Tennant actually supports what they've done with Doctor Who and Ncuti Gatwa. Let's make the Doctor a hypersexual idiot.
Yeah.
That ruined. I can't watch the 10th Doctor anymore.
You're not the only one who has said that. Glenn Beck talked about the fact that him and his son Rafe discovered Doctor Who, and they loved watching Doctor Who. Halfway through Capaldi, they were getting upset with the storylines like I did because of how he was talking down to the police or soldiers and things of this nature. And being so dismissive to them, and that they were getting to the point to where they couldn't watch it. Then when Jodie Whittaker doctor started, he said we couldn't watch it no more. That we just stopped watching because it got too preachy, and she just didn't feel like the doctor. And I think they talk. It's been a while since I've sat and watched the whole episode because I don't have the Blaze anymore because I had to cut back on everything after I lost $500 a month from the VA cutting my fucking disability for bullshit reasons, but that's beside the point. I had to cut back on a whole lot of stuff, and my Blaze subscription was one of them, even though I was one of the people who started subscribing to the Blaze when it was Glenn Beck TV right after he left Fox. But yeah, there's that. I just can't get over some of the stupidness of what they did. I mean, it upsets me because Russell T Davies used to know how to tell a good story. But like I said, it's a mind virus. This stuff is a mind virus. It destroys your creativity. It destroys your ability to empathize with other people that aren't like you. You have to see yourself projected when you've got this mind virus. You can't identify with somebody who's not like you anymore. So yeah, there's that. And I just can't get over. After setting everything on fire, he's walking away. And I'm just like, wish you would have done that before you screwed everything up and made it worse. He could have fixed what Chin Balls broke, but he didn't. He didn't double down on it. He didn't triple down on it. He quadrupled down on that shit.
Yep.
And if you'll notice, every episode lost half of its viewers as it progressed. And oof, yeah. And there's that, you know, you're like, oh damn, man, that's bad. And so I'm just grateful that we don't have to watch it no more. It's kind of like Stan and the guys on South Park when they went to go the episode when they went to go see the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and they're like, please stop raping Indiana Jones. Please stop. Oh God. You know, that was so flipping funny. It makes me want to. I've wanted to send a message to the guys that created South Park and say, can you please do a Stan and the boys doing a live reaction while you watch the Dial of Dysentery and just do it in their voices and do that as a live thing there on HBO. Because I think they would make a killing on that. It's pay-per-view.
That and the ruse of Soy Wilker.
Yes, they would make a buttload of money just by doing something like that.
They'd also get in a buttload of trouble too.
No. If you change it enough, you can get away with it. We're doing commentary on it, you know, and
it's hilarious.
But like I said, I mean, damn. Our last little bit we're going to talk about today is the Evil Hat Games. Was gonna do a tabletop role playing game for Tomb Raider, and how it got canceled because, for those in the know, Evil Hat Games is very, very, very left wing. So much so that even other left wingers call it out for its bullshit, and they are the let me see. Crystal Dynamics, I think, is the owners. Yeah, Crystal Dynamics are the people who own Tomb Raider. Canceled this role playing game because it was going to be extremely woke, and the Tomb Raider fan base was not going to have anything for it, and even Fan Pulse, which is pretty left wing on its own. Oh wait, Siggy's here. Okay, Siggy. After I read this, I gotta dress you down afterwards. Okay, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. All I learned was a lead-lined refrigerator will protect me from radiation being flung over some distance. Such a great film. Yeah, Siggy. That almost makes up for you breaking into aquariums and baptizing octopuses in the name of the great old ones. Bad, Siggy. Bad. No. You got to behave. Besides, Harvey doesn't like squids. You know that. Nor octopi. Behave. Behave.
Ironic.
Bad, Siggy.
I'd say that's ironic considering he pretty much is one.
Yeah, true. He'd say, that was not me. That was not me.
Yeah, we got video evidence, buddy. We got photographic evidence there, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Uh-huh. Bad Siggy. Bad Siggy. You're not allowed back in Florida after that. Oh, man. But no. But when you got something like Fan Pulse calling out just how woke it was and say, this isn't good, guys. This is messed up. You know you've gone too far.
Yeah.
I mean, it was going to be a Tomb Raider RPG, and the cover had Tomb Raider Lara Croft in the background, small, while the as Fan Pulse describes it, okay? Let me see. Let me go down here to where they're describing the cover. Hold on. Let me give me a second. I got to find it. So I accidentally clicked off of where I had it highlighted. Here we go. Okay. With such designers, it was obvious there were going to be problems, but the cover art was even more perplexing. Instead of featuring Lara Croft, the art has a party of what appears to be diversity hire Antifa activists, including a large black woman who definitely appears to be a lesbian. While Lara Croft is present, she is relegated to the background behind the activist. Now, the activists are four characters. The aforementioned black heavyset woman with a compound bow and two artificial legs, a white woman with a bob cut blonde hair, a big looks like Samoan dude with tattoos on his arms, a dark haired woman, I think, with a knife. So yeah, hold on, I'm gonna share the page just to be safe, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Nope, wrong button. Man, I need better production values here, don't I? But hey, we're just us, just here to shit talk and talk about this stuff. Okay, can you guys see this picture now? Is it on there? Is it up? Can you see it? Can you see that? Let's see. There we go. I think I made it bigger. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
All right. That's the cover we're talking about. And that's the diversity hires. Yep, right there. Yeah. They just moved them around in this picture. I mean,
Yep.
you could actually.
I'm actually reading the article now. I found something here that's actually really funny.
Yeah.
It says, when rumors of the project first surfaced, along with concept art from Evil Hat, fans were tepid on the project. It came out quickly that the lead writer was Ray Nejati, a self-described Filipino-Algerian and, quote, as queer as you would expect. He listed his ex-bio as he, they, pointing out he's a Nebula Award winner from SFWA and also saying he's, quote, queer, transmasc, disabled, end quote. Also working on the project was April Kit Wash.
Yeah,
who wrote the game Thirsty Sword Lesbian, who has pronouns on her bio that say, quote, she, her, or gay, gem.
Yeah.
Not,
See,
not they, them, gay, gem.
yeah, here we go. Let me pull it. See if I can make it a little bit bigger so you can see this easier. Do. Let's make it bigger. Come on, make it bigger. There we go. All right, is it working this time? Can you guys see this better?
I can. Yep.
Yeah, that looks like a dude to me, just wearing lipstick. And that's, I mean, that's why it said with people like this being responsible, no wonder people were like, And the messed up thing is, I've helped Evil Hat Games get stuff done on Kickstarter in the past. Yep, Shrubby, you're right. And we wished you would have been here a little bit earlier because we needed you to say the "see you next Tuesday" words, talking about a couple of really bad people. Just like we had to address Siggy about breaking into the aquarium and baptizing octopus in the name of the great old ones. Bad, Shrubby. Bad.
I feel like it would have been more entertaining to see him doing it in the name of Harvard J. Cthulhu.
Yes.
That would have been funnier. You should have done that. You should have done that instead, Siggy. You should have done that instead. It would have been funny.
Hey, I thought I did send you a link. Hold on. Let me take a look. Because if I didn't, I'll send you the link right now. Shit. Just to be safe. Okie dokie. Oh, that's why. It went to somebody else. I'm sorry, Bubba.
Oof.
Yeah. Somebody's sitting there going, looking at a StreamYards thing going, what is that here? All right, there we go. But yeah. Hey, no throwing bricks. No throwing bricks. Because can't afford the bricks throwing right now.
Hey, Shrubby, don't you live in a glass house?
Nah, he lives down there in Australia where there's so damn many poisonous snakes. All the most dangerous snakes in the world live there. And I'm like, I ain't going. Okay, go check your DM, man. I just sent you the link. There you are. Hello, Bubba.
Hey, there he is.
But yeah, we were talking about Kathleen Kennedy and how she is a see you next Tuesday.
Oh, one of the lovely young fish people that smells like fish for some reason.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm laughing my ass off because during the election cycle, like I said, I knew people that worked at Evil Hat Games that they weren't that bad until Trump got elected. They went off the deep end. And I'm not talking they just stepped off into the deep end. I'm talking they took a running jump and swan dived in, did all the different wild diving poses as they went in to the deep end. And when they hit the water, they just kept going and going and going. They still haven't hit the bottom of the Marianas Trench part of the deep end. And it's messed up because, like I said, I knew some of these guys. I actually thought about taking a couple of them up on some offers or doing some consignment artwork at one time, but not anymore because they went overboard. I mean, did they go overboard?
Yeah, and you're the problem if you point that out to that fact. You're the problem. You're not the they haven't changed. You're just a closet bigot. It's like, no, you decided to go down this path of whatever. No, it's 100% that it's 100% that meme of what radicalized you. I wasn't. You just left me. You just went in your own direction.
Yeah. And I'm like, I talk to anybody. I'm that type of a person. I don't hold shit like that against you. And it's frustrating to me that we're in this situation because so many people on the left have got to that point to where I can't even talk to you anymore.
You're the deplorable. You're the antichrist. You're the mustache man on steroids.
Yeah. And I'm still the same person I always was. I'm still the person that if you needed help, I was there for you. Have you heard anything from Suzanne about her daughter yet?
Nothing. Whatever. Nothing changed. She hasn't DM'd me. She hasn't put anything. Again, still same situation. No news is good news. Means if she's just wandered off, or she's gone to whatever, he's gone to get some time alone. At least that means that there's nothing to find.
Yeah, and if you guys can, there's several prayers I'm going to ask for. We need to pray for Suzanne and her daughter and grandson. We need to pray for Theta Zord. He went in for having heart palpitations. Yep. So please pray for him.
I actually heard from Theta earlier today.
Is he doing better?
He is.
Oh, good.
He's still recovering, but he is doing a whole lot better. Good.
If you hear from him before I do, tell him I'm still praying for him and still holding out hopes here. Okay.
Will do.
I'm just pray for everybody right now because the whole world needs some prayers. That's all there is to it. Just like the world needs love, the world needs God too. And well, I've always said God is love, so there's that. But
y'all motherfuckers need Jesus.
And but like I said, these guys went. They took that running big honking jump. I mean, go watch Rodney Dangerfield's when he went back to college. And
yes, the whole complete disconnect from reality. Yes,
the triple Lindy. Okay, they did the triple Lindy into the deep end, and which is sad. They used to come to Con Carolinas and a whole bunch of other conventions that I went to, and so I got to know a lot of these guys. And I mean, when they started calling people like me monsters and shit, I'm like, damn, dude, you're attacking your fan base. That's not a cool look. Didn't you learn anything from anybody else who's done that shit and they keep losing a shit ton of money? Well, guess what? You just lost a major property that could have got you guys really out there. And that was Tomb Raider. All you had to do was do a Tomb Raider, accurate Tomb Raider role-playing game. And they didn't. I mean, for God's sake, man, it's not that hard to do an accurate Tomb Raider game, because one of the people who used to work for the company that created Tomb Raider, he made a free game based on Tomb Raider. I downloaded it just before we went on, and I've been reading over it. It's a pretty decent flipping game. I mean, look at the picture, dudes. That was going to be the cover of this game. Itty bitty Lara Croft right here, while these guys,
the fucking diversity check boxes,
was going to be in the lead. I mean, look at this one. Okay. Me and my son love archery. Okay. Hey, it's awesome. She's got a compound bow right here. That's sweet. Wait a minute. She ain't got no legs. She's like Jolly, man. She ain't got no legs. But I mean, with a left wing, more apt to be left wing and more on the woke scale, is calling your shit out. You know you've gone too far.
Yeah. Without respect, we reject.
Exactly. And that sadly is where most of the fandom is to nowadays, is the fact that too many people in charge of the properties that we love have gotten into that whole concept of, oh, if you don't think like I think, you're a monster. And that's what has hurt Doctor Who so badly. That's what's hurt Star Wars so badly. That's what's hurt Marvel Comics and DC Comics, hurt Star Trek. When they started turning on the fans and attacking the people whose money they needed, all because, oh, this isn't the fan base we want. And they started making stuff that was basically money printing machines and saying, screw the people who are giving us their money. We want these people who don't even like us, like the properties, and we're trying to change the properties so they will like it. No, that's not how you grow a property. You know, you stick with what it's like my mom and dad taught me. You dance with the one that brought you. Because they're going to be there for you. Period. End of story. The moment you spit in their face and start treating them like shit, they're going to walk away and they're not coming back. And which sucks. But that's just how it is. But I'm hoping that there's enough people out there that whenever sanity comes back and people get a hold of these intellectual properties that we have loved for so long, come back and bring them back. And I'm going to point to Doctor Who because that's what happened with Modern Who. When it first came back, they brought back Doctor Who. That was how you did it. You paid homage to what came before, but you made good stories. Unfortunately, they gave the awesome intellectual property of Doctor Who to people who didn't want to tell good stories anymore. They wanted to use it as a platform to push the message over everything else. And we saw what that did to it in a very short period of time. Because Jodie Whittaker and Ncuti Gatwa were only the doctors for a very short period of time. What, 5 years? It was what,
Not
5
even,
to 6 years?
Not even that. Not even that. I don't think they even made a year between them.
Because Ncuti Gatwa, they separated his season. They chopped it up into made it 2 seasons, even though they were like really, really short seasons. And I know the Jodie Whittaker seasons were short seasons. And I'm like, for the love of God, what the hell? And somebody was sitting there going that Ncuti Gatwa was the shortest time as Doctor Who. And somebody says, nah, that was Paul McGowan. He was only in that one movie. And I had to inform them, no. In all honesty, Paul McGowan is the longest serving doctor outside of Tom Baker. Because his movie happened, and then he started doing the radio plays, the audio books, and all the other stuff. He was the doctor during that big gap between classic Doctor Who and new Doctor Who. He was the doctor during all that time.
Valid.
So, like I said, he was doing audiobooks, he was doing the radio plays and all this other stuff as the doctor. So, yeah, he might not have been on the TV screen, but he was on the radio and he was in the books. And so it counts as him being the doctor during that entire period. But yeah, Doctor Who, back to Russell T Davies, Doctor Who has a place in my heart because it was something new and amazing when I discovered it when I was in, I was in elementary school when I first saw it. And fell in love with the Doctor. It was an awesome show. The first couple of episodes I saw were John Pertwee as the Doctor, but then Tom Baker came in, and that sealed the deal for me. I totally adored watching Doctor Who as Tom Baker as the Doctor. But yeah, Doctor Who shows you how to bring something back but it also showed you how to destroy an intellectual property pretty quickly with the same dude, Russell T. Davies. On the upside, you actually get to see what to do and what not to do, all in the same dude. And I'm just hoping whoever comes in to take over these properties will learn from those lessons. And
honestly, at this point, I don't think anybody should. Not that that the property should die and never come back. I just think at this point, there is no point. There is no point anybody trying to come in and salvage it. It is quite literally the end of the classic Who period. It is just let it die. Just let it go. When the time is right, it'll come back.
Yeah.
But for now, it's you flog the dead horse to the point of it's nothing but
mush.
Nothing but
it's
a blood.
mush.
It's just nothing but mush and a bloody stain on the floor. You can't get anything more out of it. So don't.
You're gonna need to let it sit for at bare minimum 5 years. Bare minimum. Because they killed a whole lot of goodwill. And
it'll take even longer than that. I mean, look at the how the indifference that was after the last Doctor for the classic era. Look how long it took before the cry was loud enough for it to come back. Now add another 10 years on top of that to help wash away the bad taste, and then you might have a decent amount of time that people would say, yeah, let's try and bring that back. Because trying to jump the gun on that, you're just self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
You will not force the goodwill back. It has to come back on its own.
Yep. And the sad thing is, the Doctor Who would be the easiest franchise to fix. And
it would.
And that's the issue. It's the easiest one to fix. It's just the fact that they've really, well, Carlos Fish has been swimming in the water way too dang much, and leave it at that.
Now, don't blame the shit fish.
Okay, says, around 1983 for me, and it was Tom Baker and Sarah Jane Smith, and that he had a crush on her on PBS Channel 8 there in Atlanta. Yeah, mine was here up in North Carolina. Mine was Tila. I loved the wild woman. She was hot. She was hot. Running around in a loincloth. That was hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, it doesn't take a lot to turn your head. We know this.
Yep. Caught up to chlamydia. Okay.
Ouch.
Hey, Buckethead asked me how to pronounce his screen name, and I said I pronounce it chlamydia, and he doesn't like that too much.
Yeah, let's think about that for a second. I wonder why.
Hey, man, that's what it looks like to me, so that's how I say it. Like I say, I don't speak English. I speak what I speak.
Yeah, I'm about to say. So when's your glasses due in?
How many uppers am I fingering hold? or as I like to say it to one of my female managers, how many holders am I fingering up?
And how many times have you been in front of HR? Just curious.
None, actually, because the manager I say that to, the manager I say that to happens to be HR.
Fair.
But like I was saying, guys, it's I'm looking at all this stuff. Things are starting to turn around. People are basically saying the woke shit's got to go, and it's normies. Not just normies now saying it, but even people of the left who consider themselves on the woke scale are now saying, hey, man, you've gone too far. And I think that's cool. That is a good thing, because for the longest time, woke people wouldn't hold each other accountable for the shit that they were doing and saying. But now you've actually got some of them there at Fan Pulse sitting there going, wait a minute, you guys just went too damn far. And like I said, I downloaded the free Tomb Raider role-playing game that one of the people that worked at the company, a guy by the name of Matthew Gaston, it's Tomb Raider, the Mark of the Phoenix role-playing game. From what I'm seeing, this dude did it all by himself, and it looks good. You can download this stuff. Just do a Google search for Tomb Raider RPG Mark of the Phoenix, and it's looking good to me. The dude offered it to Evil Hat Games as a basis for their game, and they turned him down for it, so they could go the full woke files on it. And I'm when I first heard about it, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. I could go for it. I like the name Shadows of Truth. I thought that was a pretty cool name for it. But they, like I said, they went woke big time. I mean, when your own side's calling you total communist and keeps commenting on the fact that they have extreme political agendas that they keep pushing on everything, it's a sign that you've gone too far. And I'm sorry, guys. I love you guys. Okay, they're Evil Hat Games. I used to talk to y'all all the time before y'all went crazy, and y'all started calling me all kinds of names. You need to listen to what people that have valid reasons to be calling this stuff out. Because when you go too far in either direction, those extreme things cause pain, bloodshed, and heartbreak. And neither right nor left has an exclusive on that. Though the American right has become more anarchist than anything else. You know, we don't trust government. We want to keep government power limited as much as we possibly can. Because if you look at history, every time that there's been a mass genocide, it's always been done by government, which is one of the reasons why I'm scared of governments. But that's me. I'm not going to speak for anybody else. I'm just scared of big, powerful things like that.
It's not just government. It's any measure of authority that whatever. But yeah, for the greater part, it's government because they're usually the ones with the most power.
And the most guns, yeah.
That too, yes.
So I'm to that point now where whenever I see news like this, I celebrate it. I don't celebrate the fact that somebody ain't getting a paycheck out of this, because I'm sorry, I know what it's like living from paycheck to paycheck. I also know what it's like to be homeless. It ain't fun. But sometimes you got to accept. You have to accept the consequences of your actions. And if you're going to poke somebody in the eye enough times, they're not going to be giving you any more money. I mean, would you keep going into a McDonald's and ordering a Big Mac if they were taking a dump on the Big Mac and smushing it and handing it to you?
No, you most certainly fucking would not.
So you get where I'm. That's the whole point of customer service, guys. The fandom is the ones who have the money. The people in the fandom, they've got this stuff, these things called money, and you want their money. So what are you going to do to get their money? You're going to give them something they want to buy. Now, you can have
that's the overall problem, though, is that they have gone practically the last decade that they don't need our money to the fact that they've got funding for days, purely provided by companies like BlackRock and other nameless fucking corporations that we shall not endeavor to name here because YouTube will probably throw a hissy fit.
Well, it's also the
because-
fact that they lost a lot of that funding because the money wasn't bottomless because of investments and things of this nature. Even BlackRock losing money.
Agreed. But that has been the overall problem, is the attitude where we have to make something that will sell because we need the money of the public. That is what has been keeping this whole bullshit going for the last 10 years at the very least.
Yeah.
Has been BlackRock and other unsavory whatevers like that.
USA.
Basically just going opening the purse and going, here, have it.
Yeah. That's the problem with propaganda. It doesn't, it's you spend money hoping you're going to get change people's hearts and minds. You're not getting anything else out of it. You're basically throwing money for goodwill. Or hoping to get goodwill, or you're hoping to make people upset and angry at whoever has a power or authority that you're wanting to get out of power and authority, which is what we've seen in real life. We've seen this happening, and it's insane. It really is. I look at the world today. I can see the good and I can see the bad. And I can see that we've got more good. It's just the fact that the bad is getting all of the support and publicity. And that frustrates me. And I keep telling everybody when I end these live streams, this world needs more love in it. Be the change. Be the change that you want to see in this world. Share the things you love. Because that's the only way we're going to make things better. Is by showing that we're human. We might, like Shrubby, he comes across as gruff and mean and antisocial at times. But the two of us were up all night with our dear friend Suzanne, helping her keep her sanity because it was the right thing to do. And
I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or an insult right now. I'm just saying.
It's a compliment, Bubba. It's a compliment.
Gruff, antisocial, and mean. What?
Hey, man. You've got
Sig
the same
Valderson in the chat. Sig Valderson in the chat. Thanks for insulting us all by calling us humans.
Well, for me, that is a compliment. Okay, we're going to have to hurry up because Friday Night Frolic starts really soon. Now, I don't want anybody to
miss out on the whatever.
Yeah. So we'll be calling it quits in a few moments. But everybody, I love you guys. Going to have any last minute topics you guys want to bring up. Anybody in the chat wants to talk about something, sound off in the chat. Except for you, Siggy, you're still in timeout for breaking into that aquarium. We got to spray you down every time. Now, bad Siggy, bad. Don't do it no more. Because we know that was you.
The only one I've got on the docket in the immediate vicinity, Suzanne's got back. Looks like she's going to be hitting financial rockiness as well. The tax didn't come back as soon as it should have, so she's a bit up shit creek money wise. I've already DM'd the big man and whatever to see if we can get a fundraise or something in that situation going.
Okay.
So that's in his court. That's all on what he wants to do and who he has to talk to for that. What else? Just digging through the DMs and digging through the info going on. No, that looks like that's the only thing that's sort of seriously outstanding right now. Nothing about Theta. Nothing. Jedi, as far as I know, he hasn't heard anything bad from what's happening over in the no-go zone right now.
Yeah.
Other than that, we're pretty sweet and pretty solid. So that might be something that might be coming down the pipeline that we'll all have to pass around and pass the plate around.
Okay. Anybody? Everybody pray for Suzanne and her daughter and grandson Harlem. Pray for them. That pray for Ian's family. They really need the support. What have you got for us, Buckethead, as we get ready to head out?
Well, I'm going to be recording my next. I have more Ape Escape videos. I have an Ape Escape series I need to finish. I'm going to be playing more of Gex 3, which the series on Gex 3 I'm doing now is just a holdover until I can get the Steam version.
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned before, I have the Switch version coming, but I'm going to use that for personal use. I'm going to play that at my own time. The Steam version I'm going to use for my actual playthroughs, but I will also need to get me a USB PlayStation controller because I can't play stuff like that on a keyboard. I need an actual controller. That's the way
do you have Bluetooth on your PC?
Unfortunately, no.
Dang, I was going to say you don't even have to worry about that because Bluetooth works on the computer as well. But if you have no Bluetooth, that kind of stops that happening.
Yeah, well, it's PlayStation and PlayStation 2 anyway, so. This is an old little tiny Elite HP Elite desk.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I was in school when those came out. Holy shit.
But yeah, I mean, guys, we all have the things in our lives that we do. And like I said, let's show the world who we are. You know, be the change that we're wanting. Help people. Let your example be a shining beacon of light, okay? We need to do this because we need more love in the world. This week has been a roller coaster for several of us. I mean, worrying about Theta Zord, worrying about Suzanne's daughter, and a few other little things that's been going on behind the scenes around here. I just hope each and every one of us will remember what matters, and that's the fact we're all in this together. And focus on that, guys and gals, and everything in between, because we need love in this world. We really do.
Stay focused at all times.
Yep.
Stay toasty.
Yep. Stay toasty. That works. So I love you all. Go have fun with Doomcock's Friday Night Frolics, and don't forget to pray. Pray every day. Pray for the people you love. Pray for the people who hate you and want you dead. Just pray that the world gets a better place. Share the things you love. This world needs more love in it. And if we show the world what we love, hey, maybe, just maybe they'll go, hey, I like that too. Maybe they're not so bad. And this world needs more love in it, guys. It really, really does. And the more love we put in the world, the better this place will be, because God lives in love. God is love. Love never fades. Love never dies. It can only grow. Go with love, my friends. Be good. And know that you are not alone. And you are indeed loved.